Alright, at the beginning of the episode, we can see Duck and Percy shunting trucks in the harbor. But did you notice something? Steam has blown out of the tracks. Anyway, two engines were busy pushing and pulling trucks full of cargo to and from the quay. One morning, the engines were exhausted. But look at Percy. He's wearing Thomas's tired face. This is how his tired face is supposed to look like. In the next scene, the red coaches that Thomas is pulling have quite crooked roofs. Now take a closer look on Thomas's steam. It suddenly disappears as another train comes in. Also, I have one more question. Why is Thomas not pulling Annie and Clarabelle? I believe it will be a nice change for that. Anyway, Sir Topham Hatt promised that another engine will be found to help them. Percy complained it's about the time to do that, and Duck complained he aches so much he can hardly get his wheels to move.
They waited for the engine to arrive.
Whoa, listen again.
They waited for the engine to arrive.
Angelis mistakenly said Arrie instead of arrive. This was later fixed in the redubbed version. Anyway, the engine that was sent for help was Devious Diesel. It came as a shock when he arrived.
Good morning, squirmed Diesel in his oily voice. The two engines had not worked with Diesel for a long time. What are you doing here? Gasped Duck. You're worthy, Fat Sir Topham Hatt sent me, replied Diesel. I hope you are pleased to see me again. I am to shunt some dreadfully tiresome trucks. Shunt where? Said Percy suspiciously. Where? Why, from here to there, purred Diesel, and then again from there to here. Easy, isn't it?
With that, Diesel, as if to make himself quite clear, bumped some trucks very hard.
Oh! Screamed the trucks. Grrr! Growled Diesel.
Percy and Duck were horrified. They didn't trust Diesel at all.
They refused to work and would not leave their shed.
The camera wobbles. Meanwhile, Sir Topham Hatt was enjoying his tea and ice bun when the telephone rang.
So there's trouble in the harbour yard? I'll be there right away.
Diesel was working loudly and alone. Cargo lay on the quay. Ships and passengers were delayed, and everyone was complaining about the railway. Percy and Duck were sulking in the shed. But Percy's eyes are quite wonky.
I have to give Diesel a second chance.
Percy and Duck went sadly back to work. Next morning, things were no better. Diesel's driver had not put his brakes on properly, and Diesel started to move. But Percy's cylinder is very crooked, and his roof is crooked too, and Diesel's eyes are quite wonky. Diesel have bumped into Percy. Percy had an awful fright.
Wake up there, Percy, scowled Diesel.
Scwal, but he is smiling. Later, Diesel bumped the truck so hard that loads were everywhere. But Diesel has started from the dead end. He was also blocked by the trucks in front of him. And there's another goof. After Diesel bumped the trucks, his wheels were still moving. That's because the trucks have hit the end of the set.
What will the Fat Controller say? Gasped Percy.
What's wrong with you, Angelis? He isn't gasping, he's cross.
And who's going to tell him, I wonder? Said Diesel. Two little goody-goody telltales like you, I suppose.
Percy and Duck didn't want to be telltale, so they said nothing, and so Diesel was ruder than ever. Next day he was shunting trucks full of China clay. He banged trucks hard into the buffers, but the buffers weren't skewed. The silly trucks were sunk. Soon Sir Topham Hatt heard the news. The trucks were rescued from the sea, but the China clay was lost. Sir Topham Hatt was later scolding Diesel for that.
The harbour master has told me everything.
Sir Topham Hatt is missing his eyebrows. In that face, it's very creepy. Is he drunk or something? Sir Topham Hatt said he will be not inviting Diesel back, and he asked Percy and Duck if they will not mind having to handle work by themselves. Whistling cheerfully, they puffed back into work. But when Percy was leaving, the steam was still rising from the track. Diesel sulked slowly away. So those are all of the goofs found in Season 3 episode, Diesel Does It Again. I hope you all enjoyed this video, my dear train lovers, and I'll see you next time.